Hello friends, we are finally here. Total War Attila has officially released. This is Indie Pride with Milk and Cookies Total War, bringing you my first Attila commentary. This is my first game that I actually ever played on the game. I've only played one so far actually. I'm rocking the Sassanids in this game, and my homie Reptilicus, the Nomad Hipster, is on my left flank rocking the Huns. Going over army compositions real quick, got 3 Armenian Spears, 3 Kurdish Archers, 2 Gaian Avspar, 2 Pashtuban Cavalry, 2 Grivvenpar Cataphracts, and 2 Spabed, and a Camel Clibinari, and I believe 2 Persian Mounted Warriors. Looking at the Huns, pretty standard. Going to be going for the Horse Archers, Noble Step Cataphracts, a lot of that. I'm going to give you my first impressions of what I've played so far. Again, I've only played one game. I think the game absolutely looks gorgeous. With anti-aliasing turned on, game looks really, really nice. It seems to be running pretty smoothly. Definitely more optimized than Rome 2 was at release. In terms of multiplayer, there are some things that are a little busted. I want to talk about chevrons for a second. Chevrons are very different than they've ever been on Total War before, and when I say that, I mean that they are just insanely cost effective. It costs like 90 or 100 talents to get a unit to gold chevrons, even if they're high tier. So I assume that CA is going to tweak that a little bit as we get further into the release of the game. It's kind of broken right now, and broken is a little bit of a stretch, but it's super cost effective to put chevrons on your units, and really any mid or elite tier unit that you have that's an infantry unit that doesn't cost that much, because infantry in this game doesn't cost very much at all. Even the elite tier units don't cost that much. You should be putting a lot of chevrons into them. For this Sassanid Empire build that I'm rocking right here, obviously very Cataphract centric. The Gaian Avspar, one of the best Cataphract units in the game, probably the best. They have a ridiculous charge bonus, and one thing that you'll notice in this game is that compared to Rome 2, charge bonuses are absolutely insane. Let's actually look at the Gaian Avspar right here. They have a charge bonus of 235. Now, this is a little bit misleading because it isn't quite as high as you would think if you compare it to Rome 2. Like, the number is like 2 or 3 times bigger than any charge bonus in Rome 2, but the charge isn't 2 or 3 times more effective than it was in Rome 2, but it's ridiculous. Like, in Rome 2, if you got a Cataphract unit and charge into the back in the front of an armored legionnaire, you're going to maybe kill 30, 40 guys off the charge. You can very easily get 70 or 80 kills off the charge with the Gaian Avspar in this game. So definitely charge bonus is a huge factor. Now the difference right now for charge bonus and shock cavalry in general is that their melee attack and their basic melee stats in general are very weak. It's all about that charge bonus. If you do a bad job getting charge bonuses off or your opponent meets shields correctly, you're going to be losing all of their killing power. So very, very important with these guys, with the Cataphracts, to get a charge bonus off. It always has been in every Total War, but it's even more essential now because they don't have melee stats to actually do killing and prolonged melee combat. They have to get that charge bonus off. So, looking at our opponents, going for a very ahistorical matchup. It's actually Sassanid Empire and Huns versus Saxons and Alans. My opponent has not brought a very good build. Now, I don't know too much about multiplayer right now, obviously, because the game just came out, but it's not a very good build. He brought a lot of the elite Agatersi warriors, which are like Thracian Folksmen or Ramphia units. They're good. They're very good, but as a core for Alans, probably not really what you want to bring. And the reason for that is that Alans have a lot of other tools that they can use really efficiently, and I don't think that this should be the core for the Alans. I mean, you can probably make it work, but with the build that he brought, the 2 Grey Hairs out on the flanks, the Horse Archer Cataphract units, and some of the Germanic Warband, just in general, I don't really like his build too much. I don't think it's super cost effective. What you're going to see me do here, I noticed the Germanic Spearmasters are in a very thin line, and I had the Gaian Avspar 235 charge bonus, so I don't care, it's a spear unit. I'm just going to charge right into it and just look at that devastating charge. Completely destroy them off the charge. They're down to, well, it's in slow motion right now, so we'll see in a couple seconds here. But I charge it with 2 Gaian Avspar units. Very isolated unit. You can do that in Rome 2 and in Attila. If you have a huge charge bonus Cataphract unit, just go in and kill a spear. If they're braced, or if they're in a tight line, you don't really want to charge it, but he was very thin, only 2 or 3 ranks deep, so was able to charge right through that. 80 kills off the charge, and then I charge it in the back with a Persian Mounted Warrior that I flanked around. So this is important. I mean, getting these spear units off the field when they're not close to their sword units to protect, very, very important. Looking up the center here, there's been some charges from the Hunnic Lancers, from Reptilicus, Noble Cataphracts got some charges off into the Agatersi Warriors and the Crossbowmen. Didn't do a ton of damage. One thing you really have to worry about with the Agatersi Warriors, if it's anything like Rome 2, the Ramphia and the Falks have a bonus versus large, so you don't necessarily just want to charge straight into them. I mean, if they're isolated, you can absolutely charge in them with like a Gaian Halfspar or one of the high charge units, but you don't necessarily want to do that because they do have the bonus versus Cav. In prolonged melee combat, they're going to shred a lot of cavalry units. So, just doing some flanking here. Actually got another huge charge bonus over here with the Poshtigban Cataphracts into the Germanic Warband. Axe unit can't deal with my Cataphracts in melee combat at all, so wreck them off the charge. And we're going to now put this into play and slow it down if we see anything else going on here. So yeah, Attila, or the Huns in general, have been just charging into a lot of these Saxon units up the center here, doing some damage there. And I'm quickly pulling away. What you're going to notice here is, with my line, it's obviously very cavalry focused. Like, my build is very cavalry focused. I've destroyed him on the flanks and now wrapping around behind my opponent, which is great. But my main line cannot engage with his, and that's kind of obvious. Like, the Agatersi Warriors are going to rip through the Armenian Spears. These are just meat shields. Like, I can't use them to fight in prolonged melee combat. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to skirmish with the Kurdish archers, which are a mid-tier archer unit. They're decent, but not as good as the Royal Persian archers. But yeah, just going to skirmish with them and try to start getting some flanking shots off once the Agatersi Warriors have gotten involved in melee combat. One thing we are going to kind of mess up here is his cavalry. This Saxon Lancer right here is quickly going to be able to pull out and get into my Kurdish archers. We didn't have enough units here to protect them, so he's actually probably going to charge them pretty soon here. But over here, this was a big deal actually. The Grey Hairs, one thing you'll notice in this game in general is that the horses and cavalry fights in general take forever, and that's because their health is so large. They have a ridiculous amount of health. So 205 health for them, 215 for the Persian Mounted Warriors, which are not even an elite tier cavalry unit with no armor. Like, they're not a very highly armored unit at all. So these Grey Hairs are going to take forever to kill. And so cavalry fights in general take a long time in this game. So you have to be very aware. You don't want to be taking engagements against enemy cavalry if their infantry is closer to them than you are. So yeah, he's going to charge his Saxon Lancers in here. Good move from him. Going to lose some Kurdish archers here. And then quickly going to reinforce with the Camel Clibonari. Don't know if I'm impressed with these guys yet. I'm not even sure they have the Scare Aura trait against cavalry anymore. I don't see it in their traits, to be honest. Oh yeah, they do. They have Scare Horses. But yeah, so my Camel Clibonari should be able to do pretty well in this combat right here. Should be able to kill some Saxon Lancers. But yeah, I am going to lose some of my Kurdish archers there, which was just a micro mistake from me, to be honest. So yeah, things are going well. Winning on the flanks, actually going to get us around with the Persian Mounted Warriors on the Alani General, but killing generals in this game takes forever. Like I said, cavalry fights take a long time. Generals sometimes have 295 health, so that takes forever. Gaian Abspar going into melee combat here against the Saxon Lancers. Going to be a good engagement for me, and actually going to charge through and kill some of these Norse units as well. Are they Norse? Germanic Warband. I'm going to kill some of the Germanic Warband as well. Already up to 110 kills on the Gaian Abspar, so that's nice. I'm going to keep most of this replay in slow-mo just because it honestly happens pretty fast. The whole battle happens pretty quickly. I'm going to do some normal mode right here, but one thing I was going to try to do here, Germanic Spearmasters. I saw that first charge that happened, and I was like, oh, that was really good. I'm just going to surround them and charge them from multiple angles again. But that doesn't always work, and you're going to notice that when I actually charge that Germanic Spearmaster again, because he's more tightly compact in a formation, it's going to be a lot harder to kill him. Did notice some Saxon Lancers try to charge into my Kurdish archers, and I just turned Flaming Shot on with one of these units to get that 10 bonus versus large. If you turn on Flaming Shot in this game, the bows get a bonus versus large, so it's very nice against cavalry units and elephants as well. So I got a nice volley off there, basically routed the Saxon Lancer as it charged in, and then I'm going to switch targets to the Germanic Spearmaster. Shields on this game, from what I've seen so far, are very, very strong. Shooting at shielded units from the front, you're not going to get very many kills, even against low-tier units, which is different than it was in Rome 2, for sure. But my archers so far have been doing decent. 33 kills, 24 kills, 55 kills. Not bad at all. And actually, Attila has done a good job here. He sent me some Cavalry Step Warlord, gonna kill off some crossbow units, and he's just been harassing Saxons over here. He was lagging a lot. In fact, this game was extremely laggy, so he lost a lot of his melee cavalry, but he did a very good job with his skirmishers and his Hunnic mounted bows. Just hitting units from multiple angles was very, very nice. Yeah, you can see I have a full complete surround off on the Alani general over here. Again, it's going to take a very long time for me to kill them, but I will be able to kill his Alani general soon enough. And in the center, I've just been continuing to pull back further and further back and wait for the Agaterci to start getting focused down. So this is going to be another thing we do here. See these Agaterci, they don't have shields. Pretty soon here we're going to start focusing them down with a lot of these skirmish units. I have the 3 archers, and he has the Hunnic bows as well. And without a shield, they're just going to start getting shredded by a skirmish fire, which is going to be super nice for us. And I must say the flames look fantastic in this game. They really do. The visuals on Attila are absolutely better than Rome 2. There's no question. The game looks really, really good. So you can see we're just targeting them down here. Agaterci without a shield, but shield not going to do very well against skirmishers. And now you're going to see what I try to do against these Germanic Spear Masters. Now, you can see he's 6-7 ranks deep right now. And he is surrounded, which is nice. But I charged in, and I've lost a lot of Cataphracts charging into this unit. And they were isolated, so I was like, I can probably take this. But not super easy, honestly. You're going to see a good charge bonus from the back, and that's going to be nice. And I am going to be able to do a lot of damage, but I am losing a lot of Cataphract units. Not necessarily sure it's worth it. Maybe just focusing them down with Archer Fire might be a better strategy, but they have lost a ton of guys off the charge. Guy and Aspar are doing pretty well. So yeah, the Agaterci and Alani in general are just kind of in shambles at the moment. Continuous charges from the Griven Par Cataphracts and the Pashtaban Cataphracts really making him hurt a lot. And the Camel Clibban are going to come in here and finish them off as well. Just killed the Alani General, which is super nice. And I'm actually killing a crossbow unit over here with the Griven Par Cataphracts. Now, I believe this one might... Nah, it isn't the Cataphract that does it, but gonna get a really nice hammer and anvil off. And one thing you always want to do with these cavalry factions, especially Sassanids and Huns and stuff, is go for the hammer and anvils. I mean, it's a very basic strategy. Tie them down with a cheap unit like the Armenian Spears, and then just destroy them with a rear charge. So, Cataphracts coming in from behind. The elite Agaterci are up to 72 men, and as I charge in, a couple seconds later, they're going to drop precipitously. And yeah, you can see Agaterci down to 30 men off the charge, and they're not going to survive that combat anymore. So really good charge from me, and another good charge over here. You just want to isolate these units, and when they're isolated, even if they're spears, they can kind of get shredded. So I think I've done a pretty good job microing my cavalry this game so far. But there's a lot of stuff on the field still for Saxons. Bounce power has shifted in our favor, but he doesn't have a lot of spears, which is going to be nice for us. And we still have the skirmish advantage. He has, Rotilicus has all of his bows still intact. And another thing that's kind of imbalanced right now that I have to mention, the Hunnic Devil Archers have 36 ammunition to begin with. 36. I believe that's right. They have 19 right now, and they've shot 2/3 of their ammunition. So, yeah, like, horse archers with 36 ammunition is completely insane. You can just kite your opponent for days with that. Like, you basically never have to worry about running out of ammunition. So, that might be a unique trait to the Huns, I'm not sure. But I do know that's a lot of ammunition here. So, Persian Mountain Warriors charging into Nordic Javelin Men. And you can see these guys again are isolated from the rest of their units. They have some elite Saxon Javelin Men and some Hearthguard. We'll get a good look at them here. Hearthguard look pretty sweet. Relatively elite Saxon infantry. I think their shields look a little bit goofy. I don't think the Saxons are the best looking faction in the campaign. But Pushtaban Cataphracts coming in. Again, apologize for the pronunciation. I don't necessarily know how to pronounce all these things, but huge charge bonus there. And should be wavering relatively soon. And you can just kind of see we've surrounded him at this point. Like, he's not in very good shape. He's lost a lot of his units. And doesn't have, I mean, he doesn't, like, the Hearthguard aren't going to be able to stop Cataphract charges. So I kind of just run through them, kill the Germanic crossbowmen. And with the fire coming in from the Hunnic mounted bowmen from behind, like, this is just not a fight he wants to take. And the generals are dying, and just in general, things are going super, super nice for us. Good look at the Javelin Men here. But yeah, our Cataphracts just kind of ran train. Gonna get another rear charge off here with the Griven Par into the back. You can just see the amount of casualties they take on the charge bonus. Like, you would expect in a game like Attila for Cavalry to kind of be the king of the battlefield, and I don't think there's any question that they are going to be the kings of the battlefield in this game. This 600 talent Cataphract unit, up to 361 kills. Pricing's going to have to change from CA for sure, and I'm sure that it will. When Rome 2 was released, all the prices were kind of goofy. A lot of the elite tier sword units only cost like 700, 800, 900 talents. That's going to change. Like, right now they're all really cheap. Even the elite tier units are very cheap. That's going to change as the game goes on, but right now, yeah, it's just not very hard to field a ton of Cataphract units. But we're going to take the field here. Saxons and Alans are going to rout, and Huns and Sassanids are going to take the field. Me and Reptilicus, the hipster nomad, going to take the field, and this was our first battle, and it was a nice one. Really enjoyed that game a lot. I think that they made it a little bit easy on us. Alani having a bad build, it just wasn't very cost effective in general. The Agatharsi, he has 5 of them, some Germanic warbands, just in general. I don't think this is the build or what Alans were even known for. They need to be bringing those cavalry units and those horse archers and the skirmish. I don't think he made it work out too well, to be honest. Saxons, Bear, Saxon Warrior, he did relatively okay, but we kind of dominated that game, and I think it was because of the cavalry in general. Like, I definitely carried that one for sure. Like, in terms of kills, like, I don't even know, I haven't done the math yet on how many kills I had. I must say it's stupid that they don't have the kill count on the screen. I don't understand it at all. It doesn't make any sense. They need to add the kill count back. But, I mean, just look at the units, like Grivampar, Cataphracts, 424 kills, 300 kills on the Pushtigban, decent amount of kills on the Skirmishers, 200 on the Persian Mounted Warriors, which only cost like 500 talents, mid-tier melee cav. Guyana Avspar actually kind of did the worst out of all my units, but that was because they were killing spears. I was kind of a little bit too overzealous with them. But in general, look at Sith Reptilicus's stuff real quick. Cataphracts are powerful. They are really strong, and cavalry is going to rule the battlefield, at least on this rendition of Attila. When the patches come out, things might change. They will change. But for now, Cataphracts rule the field. Hope you guys enjoyed my first replay commentary. Of course, much more Attila coming your way soon. Talk to you all later. Indie Pride, signing out. Peace.